Today I'm going to show you how to solve one-step problems using multiplication. Now in Year 1 and 2, children represent multiplication as repeated addition in many different ways. So for example, children might have bags of apples. So here are my bags of apples. I have 5 apples in my bag. So that's 1 bag, 2 bags, 3 bags, and 4 bags. Okay, now children in Year 1 will use concrete and pictorial representations, and they would do this on a regular basis, but they are not expected to record multiplication formally. The focus is on that repeated addition. So here I've got 4 bags, and we would encourage the children to count how many bags we've got, and then we would count how many apples are within that bag. So I had 5 apples in each bag, and we would get the children to count each apple just to make sure they're happy that there are 5 in each bag. And then we can actually do the repeated addition of 5, add 5, add 5, add 5. The children would be able to add those up. And again, you could use absolutely anything. If you've physically got 4 bags of apples with 5 apples in, you could use that, but you can use anything. You can use little food bags and put bits of pasta in. You can put their toy cars in. It's totally up to you. And we would encourage the children to handle these and add them up so they can see that they have got 20. Now also in school, the children would use something called Numicon. Now Numicon are plastic shapes, and each number from 1 to 10 is represented with a different shape and a different colour, and it stays like this throughout the whole use of Numicon. So here is my number 5 on Numicon. So you can see there are 5 circles shown within my plastic shape, and my plastic shape is green. And each one has got 5. The great thing about Numicon is that you can manipulate it, you can turn it, so the children see very quickly that actually if I've got 2 5s, I can put them together and it gives me 10. So they start to make links, they start to see patterns. So here I've got my 4 5s, 1 5 there, then another 5, then another 5, and I've linked them together, but I'm still going to focus on that repeated addition. So I've got 5 there and the other 5s, and I'm going to add up those circles that I can see so that they can see that it gives me 20. Okay, and as I said, they start to formulate links and patterns, and they can see that those 2 5s will make a 10. So actually 10 add 10 will also give me 20 as well. As well as using Numicon, children will use tens frames. So a tens frame is basically a frame that has got 10 gaps in it, and you can use anything for 10 frames as long as it's got 10 gaps. So if you've got an egg box that's a bit bigger than 10, you can cut the cardboard so that you've ended up with your 10 sections. Sometimes if you're really lucky, you can get your metal cooking trays that you make cupcakes in and things like that, and sometimes they will have their 10 sections as well, and they're great for using with your children at home because then you can put whatever number you want to in each section and they can do their repeated addition. But here we've got 1 counter in each section, so you can see this column here has got 5 red counters, 5 yellow counters, 5 yellow, 5 red, and you would be encouraging the children again to count, put the finger on so that they're actually seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is 5 there. How many in this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they build up, and then they can count how many all together for my repeated addition, and they will see that as 20 as well. Okay, so other ways that you can show children the repeated addition would be on a bead string. Now you can put anything on a string. You can have a popcorn string, you can have a bead string, anything that you can thread on a string that you can use, as long as you can move the things up and down the string. So here we've got beads, and we would have our first 5 beads and then a gap, the next 5 beads, gap, and so on. So we have got this repetition, 5, 5, 5, and then finally our last 5, okay? And then the children will be able to slide those together and they would learn that 4, lots of 5, okay, or 5 add 5 add 5 add 5 would give me that 20, and they can physically then push them together, so they realize that when they're adding, it's all together. So you're bringing in different language as well. Then you might well have seen your children do this. You might even have done this yourself, where you have got your circles and you put things in circles, okay, and then you have your repeated addition again. So 5 add 5 add 5 add 5 would also give me that 20. Okay, now as they go up through the school, we then start to introduce arrays. So an array is where you set out your numbers like they were in a grid. So rows and columns. So here we have got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each column. Okay, all right, so that would be my 5 add 5 add 5 add 5 equals 20. But here we can also now start seeing those. We've got columns and rows, columns and rows. So I have got in each column 5, and then in each row I've got 4, and this is where I can start bringing in the multiplication sign, and this is usually introduced in year 2. So I've got 5 in a column, 4 in each row. 5 times 4 is 20. But we can then also show the children that if I looked at it the other way, I've looked at my rows first, so I've got 4 in each row multiplied by 5 in each column. That's also 20, and it starts to bring in the law of commutativity.